If you're like me, you're going to have an opportunity to start over in life. And I want to share some things that really matter when it comes to making these new starts because of change. My name is Campbell. I am a retired Air Force officer after 27 years. I am also a licensed clinical social worker, and I've been a change agent for 30 years of my life, helping people find peace and success as they go through change in life. This is Change with Dane, and I'm going to share 4 things with you that I think are important. What actually matters when you go through change later in life. Sometimes we need to grieve the past. Now, I know that people put a lot of their own definition on what grief means. But what I mean when I say grieve is I mean to really think about and say goodbye to something that maybe you cared about or loved. This can be a lot of different things, right? It can be somebody that you've lost to death. It can be friends or mentors that have moved on or you've moved away from. It could be a job you really loved or a place that you loved being in. A lot of times, though, grieving is difficult. It's hard to think about why we really cared about or loved something or someone. And it's hard to think about not having that thing in the forefront of our life anymore. And so a lot of us run past the opportunity to do this and to slow down and to look at how something has helped us grow or affected us or how we've enjoyed it and what it means to us to not have that be so much in the forefront of our life anymore. I think there can be a lot of growth that happens when we truly grieve. And I would like to just encourage you to take the opportunity to slow down the process if you're going through big change and see if it's something that maybe you need to grieve, maybe you need to say goodbye to, maybe you need to celebrate the strength or the growth that that individual, place, or thing has put into your life. So I would encourage you to grieve the past as you start over and move forward in your life. The next thing I would encourage you to do is plan for the future. Now, I know that a plan or a blueprint doesn't mean that that's the way that, it's going to turn out exactly. But I think it's extremely important to kind of put something down on paper. Have something in front of you so that you can sort of know what steps to take, what learning you need, what things will help you be successful in meeting the goals that you have moving forward in your life. And like I said, you can always change those things. But if you don't kind of think through, what do I need to know about, my health care in the future, or retirement, or losing a job at such and such a place, or not having this particular boss or mentor to go to. If you haven't kind of thought about a plan to overcome that and where you want to go in the future, there might be big periods of time when you feel like you're kind of blown about, don't have much direction, and wonder where you go from here. So even if it's a small thing, even if it's just an outline, even if it's just some basic ideas of where you want to go and what you want to do, I would encourage you to make a plan for the future, because I think that actually matters when you have to start over in life. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is be really, really flexible. As important as it is to have a plan for the future, you need to have the ability to pivot if things don't go according to that plan. And maybe that plan, you start working it and you think, this isn't going exactly the way that I wanted it to. Or maybe circumstances have cropped up and I want to adjust my plan or go in a different direction. Maybe you have a health scare or something happens to you or a loved one. And then you have to be flexible with your plan and pivot and shift and be able to put some of those other things into place to move forward. So flexibility is extremely important. In the next few weeks, I'm going to share with you a few things that I've had to learn to be really, really flexible on as I've started this path in retirement. And I look forward to talking to you about how important it is to be flexible and to be able to shift things if things aren't going exactly the way that you wanted them to, or that you feel like they need to be going. The last thing, the fourth thing that I want to talk about today is finding support. After 27 years in the Air Force, I had built up a huge network of people, officer and enlisted, that I could reach out to if I had questions about things, people who had done my job before me, if I needed to reach out to them and get some ideas, if there were things that I didn't understand or problems that were cropping up that I needed assistance with. There were all kinds of people that I could reach out to, my mentors, my bosses, even my enlisted people who are so smart and hardworking. Oftentimes I would go to them and get ideas, or, it was a team and there was a lot of support. And I moved back to an area that I hadn't lived in for 15 years when I retired. And most of the people that I had built a strong bond with were gone from this area. And it's been a slog and a challenge to find those people in retirement that I feel like I can reach out to, that I can, touch and get ideas from, that I can bounce things off of. And when I'm struggling or feeling down, who do I kind of talk with, who understands this? And so you've got to find that support. We're humans that need that connection to really thrive and move forward in life. And so if you're leaving a space and starting over, and you've left a space where you've had that really strong support of people that cared about you and understood you, you're going to have to replace that. And sometimes that's very difficult. And just because you're in a different stage in life, or just because you're starting something over, doesn't mean that you don't need that. And I think it matters an awful lot for your peace, your happiness, and your success moving on. I'm really grateful that you listened today to my 4 ideas of what actually matters when you're starting over later in life. And I hope you'll consider some of these things. If you're struggling with this, leave some comments on what you're struggling with. I'd love some of those ideas and things that we can talk about in the future. Please like the channel and please subscribe. And I really, really appreciate you listening. And we will in the future continue talking about change. Take care.